Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. Please be seated.
Tayo pong nakapanood ng Titanic. It's a story about Jack and Rose. And on the sidelight, the more than 4,000 people who died because of the sinking of the Titanic, akala lang natin ang kontrabida ay yung nanay, yung fiancé, yung mga mayayamang nandoon, yung mga pulis o kung sino pa man. Alam niyo kung sinong tunay na villain, kontrabida sa movie Titanic? All along, it was Rose. Something that I miss. Kasi pagka inisip mo, sino ba yung nagre-rebelde? Si Rose. Sino ba yung gustong magpatiwakal? Si Rose. Sino ba yung hindi sumusunod sa nanay? Si Rose. Sino ba yung nagtaksil sa fiancé? Si Rose pa rin. Na-meet niya lang si Jack in 3-day time. Abay, na-in love na agad. Alam po ba ninyo? At the end of the movie, pinakita sa atin matanda na si Rose. Ano yung tinapon niya? Yung diamanting malaki na hinahanap nung isang leader nung diving company. Ba't niya tinapon? Pwede niya namang ibenta na lang. Nandito yung mga taong naghahanap buong buhay nila, tapos itatapon mo lang? Ba't niya tinapon? Meron siyang apo. Anong gagawin ng apo niya na nag-alaga sa kanya? Ba't niya tinapon? Pwede naman niyang ibenta at tulungan yung mga kasama niyang, yung pamilya ng mga kasama niyang namatay in real life. Alam niyo kung bakit niya tinapon? Hindi ko rin alam, pero this is my theory. Nakokonsensya siya. Napagtanto niya, nung nasa iceberg sila, lulutang-lutang siya, nakalagay siya dun sa gawa sa plastic na pintuan, isa-isa sa mga kwarto ng Titanic. Naisip niya, kasya silang dalawa ni Jack. Pero pinabayaan niya si Jack nandun, nakababad sa tubig, at nakita niya na lamang lumubog ang katawan. Kaya niya tinapon, Jack, para sa iyo yan. Do you realize it now, my dear friends? Did you miss it too? That the real villain is Rose after all? Why the story? Because so many times, we already heard the story of the prodigal son. And there is one thing that we miss. Do you know who is the real villain in the story? It is the father all along. It could have been entitled, The Story of the Prodigal Father. By prodigal, lavish, extravagant. And the father is extravagant in his love. Sobra-sobra to the point of abuse. Let us study the culture of the time. So, yung bunsong anak, hindi na siya makapaghintay. At sinabi niya sa tatay niya, give me my share of inheritance. Translation, Dad, ang tagal mo namang mamatay. Inip na ako, ibigay mo na. You know how prodigal the dad was? Yan ba ang gusto mo, anak? O sige, gagawin ko ng paraan. So if the property is 10 hectares, worth 10 million, he will be getting 1/3 because he was just the youngest. So that is 3,360,000. And the young boy was very happy. Nakita nung kanyang ama, umalis na siya, dala-dala yung kanyang pera. Saan siya nagpunta? Sa Gawing Alabang. Kumakain sa buffet 101, no? Nagbabar, disco dito, disco doon. Hanggang one day na-realize niya, wala na siyang pera, and then nagkaroon ng taggutom. Siya nagtrabaho sa Gawing Bambantarlak, sa poultry ng mga baboy. Alam niyo, nung kumakain na siya ng pagkain ng baboy, natutulog katabi ng mga baboy, napag-isip-isip niya, in my father's house, there are many hard workers, and there is plenty of food in abundance. And then he had the plan. I am going back to my father, and then there was the speech, and I'm going to tell my dad, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. And there was the plan of action. Treat me as one of your hired workers. Ang galing. Hindi mo pa kayo natutuwa? Ang talino ng batang ito. Meron ba kayong narinig na drama dun sa kanyang plano? Dad, nagkamali ako. Ngayon, gutom na gutom ako. Pwede ba akong bumalik dyan para mapakain mo naman ako kahit konti? Walang ganong kadramahan. Hindi niya rin sinabing, Dad, sorry na. tandaan mo, anak mo pa rin ako ha. Kahit na tinanggal ko na ng karapatan yung sarili ko, pwede bang makabalik? Wala akong ganon. He realized what he did and the consequences of his action. And he was willing to pay the price. I am going back. Magtatrabaho ako. Magsusumikap ako. And in the process, mag-iipon ako so that I will become stable. And when my dad is in his old age, I will have the capacity to take good care of him. In other words, gusto niya nang maging mabuti. Tama naman siya eh. Siya yung may kasalanan. Tinanggalan niya ng karapatan yung kanyang sarili. So bumalik na nga siya. Alam po ninyo, kapag mayaman ka during those time, ang bahay mo nasa sentro. At yung mga hard workers mo, U-formation, nakapalibot dyan ng mga bahay. Kabilaan. Nandito yung main gate. So dito siya dadaan. It will take a lot of courage for him to do that kasi ang una niyang madadatnan ay yung mga chismosong hard workers. Imagine mo, nandun ka, madungis ka, nakatingin sa iyo yung mga matang mapanuri ng kapitbahay mo, mga chismoso, at sasabihin sa iyo, teka, kilala namin to Ito yung lapastangan na anak Ang kapal naman ang mukha mo, bro. Babalik ka dito? Ha? Wala ka ng pera? No? Magmamakaawa ka sa tatay mo. Bro, what is wrong with you? Yun ang sasalubong sa kanya. It didn't matter. And he took his chance. Now, this is how prodigal the dad was. From a distance, the aging dad saw him. Teka muna, mukhang ito yung bunso kong anak Alam mo, if you are an oriental dad, like many of you, tatawagan mo yung mga kamag-anak mo, yung misis mo, nandito yung anak mong pasaway. Pakinggan natin kung ano sasabihin bago natin palayasin. No, yung lapastangan na anak na yan. But not this dad in the story. Instead, the dad ran out, went to the threshold of the house. Alam niyo kung ano una niyang ginawa? Niyakap niya ang kanyang anak. Alam po ninyo, kapag ikaw ay nagpapakain ng baboy, natutulog ka kasama ng mga baboy, at ang kinakain mo pagkain ng baboy, anong amoy mo? Baboy! Hindi sinabi ng tatay, anak, mukhang nagkulang ka ng 2 ligo. Instead, hinalikan niya. Alam niyo kung anong ibig sabihin nun? Because there were people watching, this is my son. He may have gone wrong, but he is my son just the same. Before and after he left. Hindi natapos doon. Sinabi niya sa isa sa mga chismosa, quick, bring him the finest robe. Ibig sabihin, tandaan nyo, anak ko pa rin yan. Hindi pa po natapos doon. Give him the sandals. He is not a slave. Put him the ring. He has the authority in this household. That is the prodigality of the dad. Sobra-sobra. Labis-labis. If you understand it, it's unbelievable. But the son had a plan. So now, he put it into actuality. Father, I have sinned against you, against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Treat. Anong ginawa ng tatay? Hindi pinatapos. Psst, quiet. And then he ordered some of his servants, quick, kill the fattened calf bago pa magdadakdak tong anak ko na to. That was the prodigality of the dad. Hindi mo na kailangang humingi ng tawad. Nararamdaman ko na. Hindi mo kailangang gawin ang gusto mong gawin. Let me do it all. This time, let me take the lead. Di nagpiesta na nga. Alam po ninyo, pagkalaking probinsya kang katulad ko, bago pa po kami magpiesta ng January, last Saturday of the month, malalaki na yung mga baboy na panghanda namin sa piesta. Every year yan. Meron silang ganon, pero hindi baboy. Pinatabang guya. Mas malaki yon. Ibig sabihin, kasama tayong lahat. Wala namang refrigerator nun Lahat tayo kakain. Why? And the dad said it, because this son of mine is dead. He has come back to life. He was lost and now have been found. That is the reason for the celebration. And that is the episode 1 of the story. O di nag-celebrate na nga. Punta tayo sa episode 2. Dumating yung panganay na anak from the field, from work. He could hear the music. Tinawag niya yung isa sa mga hard workers. Bakit ang ingay sa loob ng bahay? Bakit may kumakanta? Bakit ano yung naririnig ko? Pata. Ano yun? No? Bakit ganun? Alam niyo kung gaano kachismoso yung hard worker? Kung gaano siya ka-instigating? Tol, dumating yung bunso mong kapatid at nasa malusog siyang pangangatawan. Alam mo ba kung anong ginawa ng tatay mo? Pinapatay niya yung pinatabang guya. Translation, etong tatay mo, hindi ko maintindihan nakaka-insulto na to alam mo ba? No? Kung anong ginawa ng tatay mo? Dahil lamang dun sa kapatid mong pasaway? That was the feeling. So, what was the reaction of the eldest son? Abay, kung ako yun, magagalit talaga ako. Based on my Jewish perspective, nagalit yung panganay na anak. Ayaw niyang pumasok. Alam po ninyo kung gaano ka-prodigal yung father sa pagpupumilit niya dahil ayaw pumasok, nakiusap sa anak. That is the extravagance of the father's love. At nakiusap siya at pinaliwanag niya the same explanation. This son of mine was dead, he has come back to life. Bakit kailangan magpaliwanag ng dad? Because he realized that the eldest son was competing. Kasi ayaw niyang pumasok Bakit? Sinabi niya yung dahilan. I have been good to you all this time, and not a single law of yours did I disobey. You did not even give me a goat to feast on with my friends. But this son of yours, after squandering your money on prostitutes, you killed for him the fatted calf. Translation, Dad, adik ka. That's the translation. And I'm telling all the children who are here, you may or you may not be with your dad. Imitate this man. Imitate this man in his obedience to the dad. Imitate this man in his sensitivity to the house rules. Imitate this man for doing his best the way he knows it. Because he was just acting based on his own knowledge. Alam po ninyo, probably you are asking me, what went wrong with the eldest son? Let me tell you what. Because he is the center of the story. Not the dad, not the younger brother. The story was written for him because there were the Pharisees who were complaining. Why is your master eating with tax collectors and sinners? There were two occasions when Jesus ate with tax collectors and sinners. One is in Luke 19 in the Zacchaeus story, and another one is in Matthew chapter 9 in the call of the Apostle Matthew. In both situations, the same thing happened. The Pharisees were the judge, and they could not accept that Jesus, prophet though he was mingling with the outcasts of the society. Tayo yun. Each and every single sinner in this tent is represented too by the younger son. Hindi po ba kayo natutuwa? For you to realize that I am always welcome. For you to realize that in Luke chapter 15, the first 10 verses are about the two parables, the lost sheep and the lost son. And on verse 7, the parable was talking about the lost sheep, but specifically on the great rejoicing in heaven. Alam nyo, there is no single passage in the Bible that talks about that. That there is great rejoicing in heaven, that the angels and the Father Himself are rejoicing. Walang ganon. But in that passage only, in Luke 15:7, walang sinabi sa buong Biblia na, uy, magdiwang tayo. Kasi meron tayong pari na katulad ni Father Chris, matalino na, gwapo pa. Walang ganon. O kaya magdiwang tayo, magsaya tayo. Kasi napakaraming nagka-attend ng the feast kahit iba yung venue natin. Walang ganon. Alam nyo, the only instance when there is great rejoicing in heaven is when one sinful person repents. Hindi ho kayo natutuwa. Because that could be you or me. Every time I kneel down, and in Luke 18, in the prayer of the Pharisee, he was not praying. He was judging. And what did he see? Humanity, greedy, adulterous, and wicked. But there was one tax collector in that story. Probably he was at the very last portion of the temple. He could not even raise his head. But he said one of the shortest prayers in the entire Bible, but the most effective. Have mercy on me, a sinner. My dear friends, if this is the only prayer that you know, I'm telling you now, it's the only prayer that you need. Oh God, have mercy on me, a sinner. Tapos na po. Wala bang palakpakan dyan? Sakit sa dibdib. Hindi ho ba kayo natutuwa, mga magulang at mga kapatid? There is too much great rejoicing in heaven when you and me kneel down and telling our Father that despite of the past that we had, we can have a better future by simply saying, Oh God, have mercy on me, a sinner. Please stand.